Joining us. Now, the only thing that's probably making this year not so happy for some of us is because we are laden with debt, right? In the start of the new year, most South Africans are probably suffering from a bit of a financial hangover because over the Christmas period and New Year's, we overspend. Those who get 13th checks and bonuses, those are probably also done and dusted right now. And January has got stationery and all sorts of things that you need to get through. It's a long month, and that's why some people, as my guest mentioned, called it January, as in you worry in January as opposed to January. Joining us in studio to discuss this further is John Manyike. He is the financial education head at the Old Mutual company there to give us advice on how to save during these tough economic times and how to recover from the overspending over the festive season. John, it's a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning, and thanks for having me.
This conversation, Slan May Bunna. It just really, really touches me inside because it's so deep and it's so true. This time of year, it's as if we forget that January is coming. They don't call it the silly season for nothing. How bad is it really?
Yeah, it's really, really challenging. I think what makes it very complicated is the fact that a lot of people actually get paid early in December. So if you're used to being paid between the 25th and the 30th of the month, and suddenly you get paid on the 15th, or the 20th, it means January is actually almost the longest month in the calendar. So you have to survive with that salary for about 6 weeks, and it requires a lot of discipline.
I'm going to present two scenarios here. The shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. And then the damage is done. What now? Yeah. So let's talk about the should've, could've, would've. What are we supposed to do? What's the ideal over December, January?
I think the ideal thing is to actually have a festive season budget and stick to it. If you didn't budget for a holiday, don't go on a holiday. Stay at home, find ways to entertain yourself, and so on. But also, be mindful that there's the back-to-school expenses and all other things, and prioritize your debts and so on, and only spend on what is left if you've got money to spend.
It requires planning.
A lot of planning and a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And going into January, obviously, you need to actually start the new year with a financial vision, and you need to write it down, make sure it is in your face, and budget for it, and stay within your means.
A financial vision.
You know, so I think the challenge now is it's the first of the month. A lot of debitors are going to be
They're going to bounce.
Unfortunately.
They're going to bounce.
Because a lot of accounts have insufficient funds. So, and people are going to be tempted to go for short-term debt to try and close the gap. And that makes the problem even more worse. So we need to prioritize. You need to find ways to cut down and do away with things that we can do without.
Some of us are going to be looking at the phones and fasting and cancelling the spirit of debit orders.
And no private numbers calls being taken and all that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I mean, I laugh about it, but it actually really is serious because it can take you several months to recover from debt incurred over the festive season.
Absolutely. This is where, you know, you're going to find a situation where there's formal and informal lenders. So when people realize that they cannot qualify for a loan, perhaps, to try and close the gap, they go to the informal sector, which are the loan sharks. So you can imagine how the year is going to progress from there on.
And I suppose people have in mind that I'm just going to get a short loan now. I'm going to pay it off with my next month's salary, etc. But it's a ripple effect, is it not?
Absolutely. It is a ripple effect. And this is the right time to actually start planning. Speak to your financial advisor. Start planning and take lessons from what you didn't do well over the festive season to say, what are you going to be doing differently this year?
And it starts with that financial vision, as you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it seems to me, and I mean, I don't have any conclusive evidence to back up this assumption of mine, but it seems to me that we don't have a culture of saving. That when we do have money, we love to floss, we love the bling, we love to show that I've worked hard throughout the year, and perhaps there is merit in that. You should, you know, enjoy the fruits of your labor. But do you think that we ought to cultivate a culture of saving a bit more in South Africa?
You know, strangely, in South Africa, we actually do have a culture of saving. The only problem is that we don't have a culture of long-term saving. So a lot of saving that happens in the informal sector through stokvels is very much short-term, and there's a lot of consumerism involved. I mean, we save for a short period and we actually only to consume that. So we really need a robust culture of saving, you know, over the long term. You need to take a long-term view when it comes to saving.
I overheard someone saying this, and I thought it was very smart. She said in order to stop herself from overspending, because, you know, wisdom is knowing your own strengths and limitations, she says she took her bonus and she maybe put aside 30% of it to say, this is what I'm going to spend. The majority she put in a 30-day account, where she said, even if I want to spend it, I can't just take it out because it's in this account. It's there. I have the money. But even if friends say to me, no, but you got a bonus, my friend, it's just helped me out with this car payment, she would say, yeah, you can wait 30 days. And obviously people don't want to wait 30 days. They want a quick solution. What other sort of tricks can we use or strategies can we use to protect ourselves from ourselves?
Yeah. That's a smart move, and that's why it's important that when you start saving, you need to automate it, and you need to try and put it in a vehicle that's going to make it difficult for you to access the money. But, you know, these days we've got a lot of innovative products in the industry. I mean, there is an account, for example, where that helps you to save as you swipe. So you can actually structure your account in such a way that every time you swipe, a certain percentage gets put on a pocket for savings. And those are the kind of products that people should start be looking at and different ways of saving.
And perhaps lastly, as we wrap up this conversation, is there any grounds for so-called consolidating my debt? So going out to get an even bigger loan to say, well, I'm going to pay off all my debts, etc., and I'll just be focusing on this one loan. Is there any merit in that?
No, absolutely. I think, but it also requires a lot of discipline. It is not a bad thing to consolidate all your debts and remain with one, because that way you know your debt-free day. But you need to be very strict and very disciplined that you don't start new debts. Because when you consolidate your debt, you might find that your repayments are much lesser. You know, because you now have one debt and you don't have multiple debit orders paying different service fees and admin charges and so on, and credit life policies that are integrated into these kind of products. So it's very important that you exercise a lot of discipline once you do that.
South Africa has been thrown quite a lot of curveballs in our economy of late. We're not looking as good as we could be. What do you think 2016 has in store for us? I'm going to ask you to look in like an invisible crystal ball and say, I mean, what is your hunch telling you that the next year has in store for us?
I think it's going to be quite a challenging year. I think if you look at the weakening rand, the possible interest rate hikes that might be coming our way, so we really need to tighten our belts going into 2016. Yes, we might see the oil price dropping now and again, but you know that it always fluctuates. But the bigger challenge really is whether we might end up going into junk status and so on. But I think we just need to be very, very cautious when it comes to borrowing and do it responsibly.
Other than caution, what sort of pearls of wisdom can you give us going into the new year?
First appointment, speak to your financial advisor. Have a financial plan and a financial vision for 2016.
I love it. It sounds so good. I must put that on my to-do list for 2016. I'm one of those people who don't have such, but I think I've learned a lot from this conversation. Thank you so much for that. John Manyike is the head of financial education at Old Mutual. It's been such a huge pleasure to have him with us. If you're feeling convicted where you are and you're like, Ish, yeah, it's good. It means that the message has sunk in. Let's take a quick ad break. When we come back, Morning Live continues. Stay with us.
Please join me, Dr. Victor Ramatesida, this Saturday, when I'll be accompanied by an array of experts discussing celebrity health scares. Too many of our public figures have experienced one health challenge or the other. Right on SABC2 at 8:30 in the morning.
Road accidents and fatalities contribute to the alarming rate of disabilities and death. This is caused by our attitude and behavior on the roads, substance abuse and vehicle fitness. Every life lost on our roads impacts negatively on the economy and leaves families without breadwinners. Be a responsible citizen, buckle up and don't use cell phones while driving. Be cautious on crossing the road. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. Obey the rules of the road. Together, let us move Gauteng City region forward.
In voetspore die week, 'n besoek aan die 4de heiligste stad van Islam, 'n besoek aan Harar. Vir eeue is die stad in die horing van Afrika bewaar van westerse invloed. Toe die Addis Ababa-Djibouti spoorlyn om Harar geloop het die stad sy glans as handelsentrum verloor en die tyd in die stad begin stil staan. Dis 'n stad van Bybelse tonele, maar kom kyk self. Voetspore in die Skeurvallei, Vrydag aand om 6 net op SABC2.
Tonight on Sewende Laan.
Asseblief, as jy haar sien, laat weet asseblief.
Sewende Laan, tonight, 6:30.
Bathe matsatsing a wena le banthomeng le ratana.
This week on Mubango.
Nna le kgale.
Believe me, don't believe me. A khou ṱoḓa life insurance. Insurance ya mini. Nda mmbudza arali zwiḽa zwinepe a zwi vhona. Hu khou itea mini? Na munna wanga ndi a mufuna nga mbilu yanga yoṱhe. Inwi ndi khou tamba nga mulilo. Hezwiḽani a zwi ndini u khou fanela u zwi vhona.
Mubango, weekdays at 9.